And yes, we are live. And if you're here, you can hear me, you can see me. Let me see you. Put in the comment section that you can hear me and you can see me. And if you're new, right on the TIP platform, because I know that we have quite a number of people who are joining us here for the very first time. I want to put in the comment section that this is your first time. And if you do not know, we come here every Tuesday at 2 o'clock to teach you on different aspects of parenting. And because the month of June is our Sex Educate Like a Pro month, all right, where we launch the challenge, Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. We talk about sex conversations to the public, and then we end it with our amazing challenge. I call it one of the best sex conversation challenge ever you can ever come across. All right, we ended with that at the end of the month. So it is a learning platform. So if you're here, it's your first time, let me see you put in the comment section, and let's welcome you. All right, thank you so much for joining us live, and it's a pleasure that I will be leading you on this conversation today. So a lot of people have come to me to ask me, so coach, how do I start sex conversation with my children? What exactly do I do? How do I go about it? So I decided that today we're going to be starting with that. And hey, tell me where you're streaming live from. I am streaming live from the capital city of Abuja. All right. And I will be teaching you on how sex conversation with your children can be made easy. One of the things that I have found as regards sex conversation is that we shy away from it because we do not know what to do. I've been privileged to work with parents for the past 6 years, and I can tell you for free, that's one conversation we don't want to near. I'll tell you a very interesting story. So I was in Asaba last week to teach in a church. And, I came in with different pieces of my books. I have like 10 books, all right? And I came in with I came in with all of them. And there was Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Do you know what happened? It was an interesting thing. So everybody avoided getting the book Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, and every other book was exhausted. Every other single one. And on the second event day, I began to ask, what exactly happened? So it happened that parents are afraid of bringing up this conversation. Parents are afraid of bringing up the conversation. In fact, they don't even know and they don't want to know. They would prefer to live in the ignorance. When they say ignorance is bliss, yes, they want to bliss in that ignorance. But unfortunately, with what it is that we are having today, unfortunately, it is no longer that way. Now, when I spoke about it, I was like, so you guys are not having the conversation. And then everybody rushed and, bought all the book. But it taught me something. This is a conversation we're not ready to broach. This is a conversation we would rather hush than talk about it. This is a conversation we would rather not even think of than even begin to say, oh no, what do we do and all of that. But we have decided, some of us have decided to create awareness on how this conversation must go so that we can dispel fear. Now, as we dispel fear, you're going to hear the wrong things, the things that are going to make you afraid. All right? One of the things I have come to learn is that knowledge actually dispels all of the fear that you can think about. But you must learn what it is that is happening so that you can arm yourself with what it is that you need to do. Today, I shared a review that a parent in the inner circle shared with me on how she got into the academy, the Intentional Parent Academy. So we run an academy that runs on a yearly basis, all right? So parenting today is no longer according to intuition. You must learn it. We're no longer saying, oh, please, you must learn it, all right? You must learn it. So I sent it to the waiting list. So as you know, we launched the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro yesterday, and congratulations to everybody who took the flash sale. We did a flash sale of 2,000 naira instead of 15,000. And then we had almost 4,000 parents. We're still onboarding them. We've onboarded 3,000 as at today. We're still onboarding you, all right? If there is anybody who have not been responded to, you've not been onboarded, trust us, we're going to reach to everybody. All right? We're not a fraudulent organization. We are, in fact, it's more important to us for you to learn than it is to you. Trust me. And when we started to, I shared something in the wait list, that a lot of people were in. And if you're still not registered for that challenge, you are the only one that is left behind. Trust me, you are the only one that is left behind. The train has moved. And I'm already giving the people who have been onboarded Sex Educate Like Your Child Like a Pro Volume 1 and 2. And a lot of them have come to my inbox to scream, like, where have I been, coach? And that's the way you feel when you attend Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. And 3.0 is going to be mind-blowing. And I shared that testimonial today. And I said in the testimonial that, she said how, she was messed up. She started watching porn. And just because of the people who were in her, I'm sure that some of us saw that testimonial. Somebody sent me a chat and said to me, was my team, was my PA that had the chat, but of course showed it to me and said, can you not share things that will make people afraid? We don't want to be afraid. I had a good laugh. She said, that she works, she's a working mom, and that, some of them cannot do without house helps. So when we share these things about house helps, doing things to children, it's just going to create fear. Why not we just, share what it is? And I said, that is it. We want to run away from this conversation. We want to hide from what happened to us. Unfortunately, we can't hide. That's the conversation. And let me now tell you why we cannot even hide, even though our parents tried to hide in the past. And that's what has created the mess that we have today. Hi, Mom. And my mom is here. Good to have you, Mom. And, it just became a mess. A lot of us had no inkling on what sex education should be. A lot of us had no inkling, none. We had no inkling. We didn't know what education should be. We just grew and just, and a lot of people in our generation, we're all chasing children and saying, no, don't watch porn, don't do this, don't do this. There are a lot of lesbianism in our time. There's a lot of, game, stuff. There was a lot of things that happened. Masturbation, pornography, because we didn't have the correct, all right? We didn't have the correct information about sex. Our parents hid. The truth of the matter is that we can't hide. So if you're on this platform and you're, hoping that, okay, I'm going to, hide and, this is going to happen and all of that. Trust me, if you do not acquire superior knowledge, that's it, Baba. If you don't have superior knowledge, you will be afraid forever. And you will run kitty forever. So this is my call. Anybody who have not already registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, you're on your own. For the parents in the inner circle, they know it's compulsory for every parent in the inner circle to be at Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro every year. Coach Ebuka is here. Coach Ebuka is going to be teaching on betting, on boards, on, Yahoo. There are a lot of things that are happening. Sex is no longer the way it used to be in our time. So when I look at everybody say, it's in our time. In our time. Which time? See, the world will never be the way it was in your time. It's never, ever going to happen anymore. So throw that in my time into the bin. Throw it into the bin. And in that your time, a lot of errors happened. You just are lying to yourself. You also want to be hypocritical about it. But unfortunately, some of us have decided not to be hypocritical about it. We want to speak out because we want to save the next generation. Look at what is happening all over the world. The other day, I shared a documentary on what is a woman. If you have not watched that documentary, you're old. The propaganda about the LGBTQ, the trans thing, the gender thing. and you're a parent parenting in this time, and you don't know what's happening, and you're still hiding, and you're still telling me that, oh, coach, don't, make us afraid. Are you kidding? Don't make us afraid. Like, really? See, what is coming is already here. There's nothing like, oh, God forbid, it's not our passion. It's here already. We have a change in our hands. So you can't continue to sit back and tell yourself, I'm going to parent the way my parents have parented, what they did to us, so we turned out okay. Who said so? When we have a lot of perverts in our generation, you have a lot of men sleeping with small girls who are maids in their homes, and you say you are okay. Let me start this class so that I don't I don't enter the sex educate your child like a pro in no time. Coach Ebuka is already sharing fire. Coach Ebuka is going to be there. Coach David Folarami is going to be teaching at sex educate your child like a pro, and Coach Tima will also be teaching at Coach educate your child like a pro. How you teach sex education to sex conversation, how you have sex conversation with your child, your son, will be different from what it is. All right, from what it is that you are going to have also with your daughter. All right, that's it, Chama. That's so true. It's forced down our throat, and we don't have an option. Do you know why we don't have an option? Because we don't have superior knowledge, and we are also the silent majority. I was telling the parents in the inner circle today, and I said, everybody who is here listening to me, if you do not share the flyer for sex educate your child like a pro, you are the silent majority, and that's what we're playing, silent majority. The LGBT community is the minor, very bold, loud minority. That's the problem. Very bold, loud minority. Are you going to be the bold, loud majority? Or are you going to become the minor, the majority that is silent? That's who we have become. Because we think, oh, we're just doing this thing for a certain level, key people. Every single one of us who influences in the parenting system have been offered money to be able to influence for the LGBTQ community. Every single one of us. I don't know every one of us who is in this system. At least I know the people that I mentor. Ebuka is here. David is here. I know that they've been offered money. So while you're seated in your house saying, all these things that they're saying, what are they saying? Oh, and all of that. And you're not sharing. The LGBTQ community is a very minor, very bold minority. So they're winning. So don't, God forbid, they will not win. The devil will not win this war. This one, that one. It's not by confessing. We have moved from the place of confession to the place of tangibility of our faith. To the place of tangibility of our faith. We're all quiet, good people. We're good people. Oh, we don't want to say anything so that it will not be. That's how it is. That's how it's going to become. That's how it's going to become. And this is very critical. I say again, this is very critical. That we are being threatened. The humanity, our humanity is being threatened. And if we don't begin to teach what is right, that's how all of us are going to be swallowed up. Like we are already. We are already. So we chose June as Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro month, because June is also the Pride Month. If you don't know what Pride Month is, the month where LGBTQ is being paraded in our faces. All right? That's the time where it's being paraded in our faces. So it's a choice for you to watch this thing, or for you to stand up, or for you to say, don't scare us. Oh, I don't want to be scared. Oh, all these things that are scaring us. Oh, must you scare us? Is a choice. You choose to. Again, you choose to. Like I often say, if we want, we can shout, God forbid, from now till tomorrow. It changes nothing. God forbid is not a parenting plan. I've taken about 15 minutes to rant because that's how passionate I am about this topic. And if you have not shared about Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro and you're still here, thinking, oh, should I not? You're actually being the silent majority. All right. So get that flyer, share, invite your family and friends. Somebody is asking whether they can still register. Yes, you can still register. It's $299, $3,200 if you're making a direct transfer. All right. And that offer is on for the next 1,000, I think. We're already about 4,000 people in. You're the only one out. You're the only one arguing and asking yourself, should I not? All right. Whether your child is 1 or 0. Now they start indoctrination when your child is even born with the kind of color they wear, with the kind of things they teach them in school. What are you doing? Nothing. How can sex education be made easy in this generation? We're so pumped up for sex educate your child like a pro challenge. Like if you come for that challenge, your whole parenting game will be changed. Somebody is asking, what is LGBTQ? This is amazing. All right, please somebody help us type that. Thank you so much in the comment section. Okay, and that's all right. Thank you. So, are you going to be the silent majority? Are you going to be a loud majority, or you want the loud minority to win at this war? Thank you again for joining me. Number one thing, there are things that you need to remember. Sex conversation reminders even before you begin to have sex conversation. For those who are asking how they can join the Sex Educate Like a Pro, the details are on my screen. You can use the link in the description as I teach. Before you even start sex conversations, please, I would like you to have open lines of to remember these things. Number one is somebody said there's 2 SLGBT. Yes, there's even QI and plus. So plus is that in case something comes up, that's why there's a plus. All right. And are you even having the LGBT conversations with your children? Are you having the gender? Because that's where sex conversation today starts from. Gender. It's no longer they touched you, they did not touch you. We're also going to be teaching on the non-touching sexual abuse. Your children are being abused online today. Children are being abused. Nobody's touching them, but they're abusing them. When a 3-year-old has now become to masturbate watching porn, what do you think that is? The 3-year-old is not, the 3-year-old is not responsible. The 3-year-old is not responsible. The people responsible are the caregivers of these 3-year-olds, which is where the real challenge is. That's where the real challenge is. Number one thing you want to do before you even start sex conversation, whether your child is 0 or your child is 1 or your child is 18, is to open the lines of communication. Now, the rule of thumb is that when you're discussing sex, anything around that conversation, ensure to keep the conversation simple and open. It's not a conversation anymore when you are the only one speaking. Your child must feel free to communicate. Your conversation does not have to be complicated. In fact, it needs to be simple enough for your child, no matter the age, to be able to understand. This is very important, no matter the age. Now, how do you even begin these conversations with your child, and what age and all of that? People have asked me this question, and I'm sure that that's a question that you would like me to answer, right at this class. The answer is that the moment you have a child, sex conversation begins. Let me repeat that. The moment you have a child, sex conversation begins. Why do I say so? Because right now, sex conversation, we think that sex conversation is about the mechanics of sex. That's why every time that this happens, we are put off. We are put off because we think it's about the mechanics of sex. But it's not. It's not. For instance, I was sharing a Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, I think that was volume 2, how the 10 self-concepts of sex conversations. And in that self-concept, we're talking about self-esteem, self-control. Why do you think men, they're everywhere cheating? They can't, control anything that is happening to them. What do you think is happening? What exactly do you think is happening? It's simple. Self-control. So they tell you, oh, go and war in war room. No, he's a man who was not taught how to control self and couldn't translate it either to controlling sex. A child who can't control appetite, control other things, will have a problem controlling sex. So there is this sex, self-concept. So sex conversation is not about the mechanisms of sex. So all the fear. Oh, what if I teach my children now? Coach, this the teaching children how to have sex. Are you sure we are teaching them? Is it right to teach children how to have sex? No, sir. We are not teaching your children how to have sex. That's not what we're teaching. We are teaching sex conversation. This is very important. Very, very important. That's what we're teaching. So the question will be, how are you teaching your children to have healthy sex when it is time? Or you just assume, oh, because my children shall be taught of the Lord. You know how, especially for Christians, how we say it. Oh, my children will just, they will just know. They will just know why, these things happen and all of that. And once that happens, my children will just, and all of that, they will have healthy sex. No, they will not. They will not. A lot of us in our generation aren't having healthy sex, even though we're married. That's why many of you are onto porn. It destroys your mind. And if you do not take a step to do what it is that our parents couldn't do, you're going to be in a mess. That's the truth of the matter. If you don't stand up today to do what it is that our parents couldn't do, it will be a mess. It will be a mess because what our children are even battling with is much more than what it is you can ever think of. The battle is real. The battle is fierce. What we battled with is nothing. So it's anytime you remember to say, in our time, this happens, throw that in our time into the bin. Your time is inconsequential in this generation. In a generation where sex is now a sport, haven't you heard? That sex is a sport in a certain country, where very soon we're going to be having sex as a sport in Olympics. It means that your child can come to you and say, I just want to go and run sex as a sport. Are you ready for what is coming? In the next 30 years, it's been said that there will be more gay families than there will be normal families. Are you ready for it? Or are you just, kabashing? Number 2, relationship. Many of us do not have any form of relationship with our children. You want to have this conversation. How do you want to have it? It will look awkward when you start. So you need to build relationships. So as you're coming for sex educate your child like a pro, go and take your time. All right? Go and take your time and look at all of these things I'm listing and go and ask yourself, have I even started building this process? Because sex educate your child like a pro 3.0 is going to be, it's going to be hot, real hot. We're going to serve it to you real hot. You wouldn't have ever attended anything like that as a course in your life, I can assure you. Many of us do not have any relationship. One study says teenagers who feel highly connected to their parents and report that their parents are warm, caring, supportive, are far more likely to delay sexual activities than their peers. Yes, that's true. Another unrelated study found that close relationship with parents seem to discourage children from sexual activities. What is your relationship with your child? Now, when you get into the inner circle, one of the things that we help you do is that we build what I call real and required relationship. Real and required. Most of us do not have real and required relationship with our children. I'll tell you why I called it real and required. All right? Real and required. There are parent-child relationships that are not real. There are some parent-child relationships that is not required. Like putting yourself in a position where you become a friend to your child is not required. It is real because there is a connection. There is a real connection. There is a required kind of relationship. And that's where friendship becomes the tool in parenting, not a relationship. And this comes with a lot of knowledge. For you to build real and required relationship, you need knowledge. So you don't need to go and be playing with your child, doing so that they will be able to tell you what is happening in their life. No, you don't need to. And let me say this. It's a fallacy that your child is going to tell you everything that is happening to them in their lives, especially for your teenagers. Throw that thought out of your head. Your role is not to control. Your role is to guide. All these, my children are very, I meet some parents. They tell me, my children are very close to me. They tell me everything. If I get into your children, have a conversation, it will shock you what you do not know. So your aim for creating a relationship with your child is not for them to become your friend. Your aim for creating a relationship is for you to be able to guide. And for you to have sex conversations, you must get into your role as a guide. Real and required relationships. Very, very important. Very, very important. So are you creating real and required relationship? All right. Everyone talk about, parenting. Some of us say, oh, there's no manual. This thing that we're saying, there's a manual. Don't kid yourself. There is a manual. There is a manual. Some of us are parenting with our parents, what our parents used to parent. While some of us are parenting with a well-crafted manual. Either way, you're parenting with a manual. You're parenting with a manual. Probability gives you any kind of result. All right? Intentionality is what gives you a definite result in parenting. So, the relationship we're talking about is not permissive relationship. We're talking about loving your child. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a relationship, your friend. That's about what is required. And my journey as a parent coach, I have come to a place where I realize that you can love your child and still kill your child because you do not have the prerequisite knowledge to be able to give your child what is required. You can love your child. Let me say that again. You can love your child and still kill your child. It is possible. You love your child and your child will still struggle. You still do them a disservice. It's possible. Very possible. Somebody's asking, how do I acquire real and required relationship? Get into the academy. That's how. All right. This class is not to teach that. The next one is your parenting must have boundaries. And if you're asking about the academy, see the scroller rolling down. That's what the academy is about. The next cohort starts December 2023. And there's the 2024 cohort. All right. Your parenting must have boundaries. Must have boundaries. Now, conversation to work with your child must be, for this conversation to work with your child must be held accountable. There has to be an accountability process. I've often said that any child that is not held accountable will destroy themselves and they will also destroy you, unfortunately. Parenting failure comes to you first. It comes to you first as a parent, and then the child, and then the society. So creating boundaries is about creating structures, not flogging your child or yelling at the child. All right? This is only doable if you understand the discipline that works and the disciplinary strategies. This is very important. Now, I want to also, share with you what are the things that you should always look at. How do you make this conversation easy? Remember, that's the conversation we're having today. How do I begin to make this conversation easy for me? Number one, take out the disempowering thoughts. And I'm going to share disempowering thoughts with you. What are these disempowering thoughts? Public parts, private parts. When it comes to sex conversation, it is disempowering to use this term. Very disempowering. You tell your child, oh, don't allow anybody touch your public part. That's what our parents taught us. Very disempowering statement. I'll tell you how. Don't allow anybody touch your leg. If they touch you, you get pregnant. Don't allow anybody touch your private part and all of that. When you begin to teach public parts and private part, you do your child a disservice because sex does not start with the private parts. Sex does not start with it because every part of a child's body is private to them. In fact, I tell my children, my daughter, especially, I tell her, if somebody looks at you in a certain way and the person is trying to sexualize you, run. Somebody can sexualize you with their eyes, their hands. So when we teach public part, private part, Very disempowering. So I'm already trying to break down some of the thoughts, that we have when we're starting this conversation. I know that a lot of us join this class, you join it so that you will hear that thing that they will teach children. Maybe they will teach your children. No, we don't teach children. We're teaching you. You're the culprit. Somebody asked me, is this class for my children? I said, no, it's not for your children. I don't teach children. I teach parents what they need to learn. So take out that disempowering part. We're going to be sharing more disempowering conversation, all right, that you have with your children that you should never have with them. By the time somebody touches a child's hand, and by the time the child, gets, the feeling and all of that, and the child is getting to the private, but the child will not be able to say no. That's why most of you were molested as young people. They told you nobody should touch your private part. Yes, but your uncles touched your hand. From the hand, it went, and then it went to the private part, and you couldn't say no because that's the next one. Teaching a child never to say no. It's disempowering. Very disempowering. So when you teach a child not to say no, you are to adults, especially, because according to you, culture. Now, culture is another aspect of disempowering, conversations around here. How does culture disempower? How does culture disempower? We're talking about the things that culture brings. Like, when an adult is talking, you don't say no. It doesn't matter what the adult is saying to you. That's how children, adults need respect. Adults need respect. And so they molest set finish. That's the truth. Adults need to show. That's why you need to respect an adult. You don't need to talk to the adult. You don't know who says who. That you cannot say no to an adult. Who said that? It's disempowering. So if you're going to have this conversation, your children, must learn that when it comes to their body, they can actually say no. Don't come close. Even when the person, doesn't matter who the person is. You're encroaching into my space. If it's 2 meters away, 3 meters away, it doesn't matter who the person is. All right? Said this one that made Proto speak reading. You guys should leave me in a second parent. Leave me alone. In the recent times, I have seen countless parents, women especially, who were molested by their fathers. That's the recent, people are coming out to speak how their fathers molested them. Because they told you, you cannot say no to an adult. It's your, how does that even make sense? Culture. So you need to watch it. You need to watch it. The person saying, I'm interested in the program, look at the link on the system, and you can use it to make payment and get into the sex educate your child like a pro. If you're not there, now you do yourself. All right? Now you do yourself totally. All right? So it is important. So all of these are now coming out. Uncles messed up. When people say, this thing, the world is so bad. I was almost raped by a priest. My mom is here. She can hear me. I myself was a priest. I listened to in church and all of that. I just, a wink. It was just, it's like, we don't like to tell these stories, but they are the truth. They are there. And then we even tell people that, religious people are sacred. Religious people are sacred and all of that. Religious people are not to be, they're not to be spoken to. These are the things that we get our children. Till today, pastors, priests are still molesting your children in their home. And you're still covering it up. The same way fathers are molesting their daughters, you're covering it up. Recently, somebody reached out to me and said, the husband has been, she's very angry with the help. The husband has been sleeping with the help. What can she do? This one, she wants to take the help. How old is this girl? 13. My goodness. I didn't sleep that night. I have a 13-year-old in my house. My daughter is 13. I couldn't sleep. A man that should be reported to the police station. You are angry with the girl. You beat the girl for your husband who molested the girl. That's the kind of system we have created. That's the kind of system we have created, unfortunately. And this girl, of course, was also trained not to say no to the uncle. So uncle can do whatever it is that he likes. Come on, guys. How long are we going to really lie to ourselves that these things are not happening? How long? I'm not interested in the lies. I want to tell you the truth. I'm called the apostle of truth for something. I will tell you the truth. I don't know how to cut it. You might not like it because my teachings are really hard. My teachings are hard to swallow because I am calling to bear the things that are happening in your home. Unfortunately, many people are always like, she's so blunt. Maybe you need to pet people and just make them. That's not how I'm called to do it. And it's fine. You can go get someone who's going to pet you and tell you the lies and all of that. But I'm going to tell you the truth. We need to wake up. We, in our generation, we need to undo what was done, because a lot was done. A whole lot was done. The next one is teaching children that stranger means danger. Now, when you teach your children, right? When you teach your children that stranger means danger, you disempower them. You need to teach your children how to discern instead. Because it's been recorded that 90% of the time, people who abuse children are people who actually know the child. Is there anybody, all right? Is there anybody in this place who was ever molested that it happened through a stranger? All the people that tried to molest me were all people they were not strangers. They were relatives, most of them. So I've told you about the priest. That's one. Then there was this cousin of ours. There was this cousin of ours. My father was almost going to kill him. There's this cousin of ours when we go to the village. My father just felt, okay, this village, this thing, they're going to help you, show you around as per children that came from town kind of thing. And then we'll go, me and my elder sister. There was this particular young man, that guy should be in his 20s then. We were children, we were barely 13. When we go, this guy will bring out his private part, his penis, black something, long, and be showing us. The first day we saw this, my sister and I ran. The first time I told my mom is listening to me. My mom was like, huh? But you know the thing, there were no communication line on this conversation, even in my home. My mom is listening to me. I never had those conversations. I couldn't even say it to them. All right? So, stranger is not danger most of the times. So you can't tell. I remember that eventually, I think after I got married or something, I was having a conversation with my dad, and then I said it to my dad. And my father said, the man still comes to the house to come and help him do stuff in the, see how you bring molesters, predators into your home without knowing. The guy still comes to our house till today and still helps to clean up things, and help daddy and help everything. I told my father almost wanted to commit murder. But that's the truth. Many of us saw things like that, but we're still trying to cover up. We're still trying to say, no, our children, no, they will be taught. The Lord will teach them. Oh, this. I understand. I'm a Christian, very born again one at that. But I also understand that when there is no knowledge, people will perish. All the molesters were close family relatives. Close. So in this conversation, stranger is not danger. It's actually the people that are close that is the danger. Oh, yes. And we're going to be teaching about stranger danger, close person danger. All right? At the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. You want to be there. If we can get thousands of people in to come and listen to what it is that we need to learn. And then there's also the place of siblings molesting themselves. A few days ago, I shared a post on our Instagram page. It's a parent in the academy that shared it with me. She said she walked into her children. Both of them were touching themselves. Both of them. So your children are even molesting themselves as we speak. Many homes. Because there is no appropriate knowledge. It's not that the children are bad. Trust me. And when these things happen, own up. Own up. This is very important. When you own up, you seek help for that child. When you do not own up, you will not be able to seek help. So what happens? The child just continues and all of that. You've picked the children. That's what happens. You catch a child who is being molested or children who are abusing themselves. See, when children abuse themselves, they are still not culprits. They are still victims. They are still victims. I need to say this over and again. Any person that is less than 18 having sex with whatever are still victims, even though they're having sex with themselves. It doesn't matter. They are victims. They are victims of your ignorance. So while you sit down and tell us, oh, what are you even saying? This thing that they're saying about the children will just learn like that. It doesn't happen like that. And if you're not teaching now, the internet is going to help you. My dear Uncle Google, your children even know more than you think you know. This is very important. So the people, the abuser, is actually who we're looking for. Not the children who are molesting themselves. These children are victims. So beating a child that has been molested by another child or has been molested by an adult is one of the most stupid things I've ever heard in my life. How do you beat? The woman said, oh, the girl didn't talk. That means the girl enjoyed it. I'm like a 13-year-old. How did you get here? How did we get to a point where we say things like this? Like, are you kidding me? A 40-something-year-old man sleeps with a 13-year-old. You beat the 13-year-old. Like, are we mad? So sorry. I don't know why my router is doing this. I want to switch to the power cable. Okay, I think we're good. All right. So it is crazy. It's crazy. How do we do that? Any child less than 18 involved in any sexual immorality, they are victims. They are victims. Somebody introduced them to it. Somebody didn't teach them what they need to know. They are victims. Please, let's stop this. It's important to me. Very, very, very key. So I don't understand why you would beat a child that have been molested. I've never been able to understand it. Unfortunately, that's the program in our head. This is what our parents did to us. An uncle molested you, you go to tell your parent beat you. Somebody told me that she went to tell her parents that the mother, the younger brother molested her. The parent beat her and put pepper in her vagina. How did we get here? How did we get here? Or was it the kind of abuse that happened to the boys? If you ask many boys, do you know that sexual abuse, the statistics is almost as large as the statistics for girls? Almost as high. Ebuka is here. Almost as high. Boys who were molested, with their house helps. But because for boys, it's like trophy. We've socialized boys to think that having sex is a trophy. These are part of the things that we're going to be teaching as sex educate your child like a pro. So if you are teaching your girls and you say, hey, they are boys now, even if they have sex, nothing is taken out of them. Who told you? Who told you that nothing is taken out of them? Who is the person? Because they are boys and because they can waggle their pennies from everywhere to anywhere and, it doesn't look like something entered anywhere. Are you guys kidding? These are all the wrong perceptions we have about sex conversations. No, don't talk to a boy. Oh, no, don't just talk to a girl. This is very key. In fact, boys, in my opinion, they are the people who should concentrate on this sex conversation, as it were. And thank you to people, they are like, Ebuka, who are out there teaching boys. Ebuka is a boys coach. Just teaching boys. Boys are even in. And if we do not teach boys, the girls will still be in trouble. Who are the molesters? Who are the pedophiles? Who are the predators? We're talking about the boys. We're talking about the boys. We're not talking about, it's still the boys. It's still the boys. This is so key. All right. And if your child is not learning in academics and all of that, please get them in. Let them begin to learn. All right. As you also learn. The most important person that needs to learn is you. That's the truth. You need to learn first, because if you don't learn, all right, if you don't learn, it's going to be a big trouble. Because you'll be teaching the same thing that our parents taught. They are boys, they can come back anytime. But you're a girl, once it's 6 o'clock, return home. And then your daughter is wondering. But the same boys, those boys are going to be out there. They're the same boys you're going to give your daughters to. They're the same boys that will sleep with house helps, because they were not taught how to control themselves. You're not taught. You're not taught. So we need to put our eyes down and stop, saying, oh, this, that one, and all of that. This is very, very important. This is very key. Number 3, all right, the next one, feelings are bad. It's disempowering to tell your children that feelings are bad. I was sharing on Facebook the other day, and I was sharing how, when my daughter came to say, oh, she was crushing on a particular boy and all of that. I was like, it's fine. Is it not crush? See, when you begin to tell your children that how they feel is bad, how they feel is bad about, opposite sex or whatever, you're going to kill that child. Because when a child comes to you, for instance, and say, I feel like I like this person. When I see the person, there's a way my body feels. If you shut that child down, you demonize feelings at that point, you lose the essence of the conversation. The idea is for you to understand that your child has feelings. Then you cannot help to redirect them. Do you know why many church people or children born in church are a mess with porn? This conversation. We did a statistics recently, pastors' children. And the statistics show that a high number of them, yes, come out virgins, in quote, who have never had sex with anybody, but a mess. They've had sex, pornography, masturbation, lesbianism, because their understanding is that, oh, I'm not supposed to just sleep. What is the sin? Is sleeping with someone, the sex thing. But if I do any other thing around it, I'm safe. Because they did not tell them what to do with those feelings. In fact, when the feelings, a particular pastor's child said to me, a very big pastor in this country, when it happened, they just tell you, go and pray. It is the devil. It is the devil. See, the conversation on pastors' children is another conversation entirely. It's the devil that is keeping you down. Pray, it will go. It doesn't go. So these children get into porn and begin to mess themselves up. And as adults, they are a mess. Their private lives, most of them are a mess, complete mess. I won't go into that. The next one, all right? As I begin to round up, let me just teach. There are several of them, okay? If you want to know more about what I'm teaching and what we'll be teaching, please join the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Challenge. Don't miss it. Nobody listening to me should miss it. Whether you have children or not, you have children in contact with you, please do not miss it. All right? Do not miss it. Yeah, some of the things we're going to be sharing, you won't hear it on the pulpit. Nobody's going to tell you these things. But the truth of the matter is that they're still happening because your body is there. You're a human being and it's going to happen. And somebody needs to call attention to them so that we can learn and become different. So that our body can really be the temple of God. Like, it is that is written. I'm a Christian, so of course, permit me. I'm going to quote the scriptures. So, another thing that you don't want to do is, let me say this, there are quite a number of them, is teaching sex conversations using fear. I often say that fear is an inappropriate language of instruction. When you get into the laws of sex conversations, when you read my book, Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Volume 2, I shared a lot on that. How do you share without sex? One of the things that I have learned is that when you demonize sex, all right, when you demonize sex, you get your children even more curious. See, the moment you come from the angle of sex is bad, you lose the conversation. Sex is bad. Don't ever have sex. You lose that conversation with your child. Because you know what? Fear does not work for the puberty brain. It fuels it instead because it's experimental in nature. You know, the puberty brain is experimental in nature. So we're going to get there, you know, as we progress and all of that. Their brain is not cognitively developed enough to think big pictures, to walk down the worst case scenarios. So when you teach them that, oh, you're going to get pregnant if you sleep with this, it doesn't work. And I say that honesty is one of the anchors, right, of sex conversation. Truth. If you cannot use, it's a currency in sex conversation. There are many currencies. We're also going to be sharing on the currencies of sex conversation. Truth. The moment your child cannot trust you with the truth, you can't tell the truth. You tell a lie once. Trust me, you lose that conversation. Fear is an inappropriate language of instruction. The moment you demonize sex, you lose the conversation with your child. Now, when you tell your child things like, if anybody touches you, you get pregnant. In fact, if you have sex, you get pregnant. And it's not true. My daughter asked me, Mom, is it true that when you have sex, you must get pregnant? I said, no, you must not get pregnant. Why do I want to lie? Why do I want to lie? See, the more you lie, the more these children get on the Uncle Google, which will tell them all kinds of things, whether true or false. And then they find it there. And then they find another person said, then they believe that their parent is a liar. You believe that their parent is a liar. And then you just tell yourself, you know what? This my parent doesn't know the truth, doesn't want to tell me the truth, or doesn't know the truth. So anytime I have a problem, I cannot begin to have this conversation with this parent. Because it's either this parent will not tell me the truth, or this parent, he doesn't know the truth. So you can see how you've lost out. All right? And somebody said there's also AI, ChatGPT, that's it. So if you are not honest on this conversation, you already, all this, my child is asking me, how does a woman get pregnant? He said, they just, you vomit seed from the mouth. All those nonsense that our parents were telling us. You try it now, you lose out. Some people were not able to find it on the internet, even though some of us were still able to find it. But some people were never able to find it because they're not curious enough. But right now, they don't need to be curious. It's at the tip of their fingers. Bam, bam, bam. Everything just comes running to them. So if you have not even learned to deal with your own issues as a parent, deal with how you are not afraid of telling the truth, how you are, oh, I don't know what it is. How do you, it's going to make a mess. So the next time a child asks you, is it that everybody that has sex gets pregnant? Tell them the truth. It is not true that anytime you have sex, are we not all married? Come on. I have only 2 children. I've been having sex for 14 years. So I'm supposed to have how many children? Maybe 14 or something. I just have only 2, a set of twins. I've gotten pregnant once all my life. But I've had sex for 40 years. That is the truth. That is the truth. But it is important that you now know what is age appropriate for this truth per time. Now, this is where knowledge comes in. So what you've heard now, oh, I need to tell my child the truth. Yeah, you now go and tell your 7-year-old how, the rigors of, bringing out the pennies and, and all of that and all of that. That's a knowledge that they do not need, right? At the time where you are sharing it, except they have seen it. And every time you're having a conversation, always soundboard. What does my child know? Sometimes you're telling your child what they already know. They're looking at you and they're saying, my mother is born before technology. They call you BBT. That's what they call you. Born before technology. Oh, this my father. My father is BBT. Father is BBT. So these things are so real. They are here. They are here with us. So if you're watching me and you're, in the place where you can always catch replay, okay? You're watching me and you're a place where you're still asking yourself, oh, what do I know? It has gone haywire, completely haywire. Somebody's still asking, when do I start? You start sex conversation at birth. I'll tell you why. Now we have gender diaspora. We have gender issues. See, gender issues are the biggest issues we're having today as a generation. See, many of your children, even those who say, oh, it's not in my country, oh, it's not my, many of your children are actually confused about their gender. I have programmed for you, see it, and I know what I'm saying. Many of them are confused about their gender. They don't know whether they want to be, and these things are not, it's not like they are created in that way. Many of the times, these are programs. So if you understand how to program from age 0, there are some conversations that will come easy for you. There are some programs you need to install on this conversation from age 0, especially when it comes to gender. So if you're here, you don't have a child. In fact, you are the most blessed. Somebody said, what's the meaning of BBT? Born before technology. That's who you are. All the time they are performing, they are telling you, say, I don't even know how people do this thing. Oh, I don't even know. You become BBT now. Born before technology. All right? This is important. So it is very, very, very important for you to remember that your children know a lot. What your children know will shock you. The things that they know. See, it's not just about tech. There's also something in this generation. It's also been proven that this generation actually have a higher level of IQ than we did. I don't know about you. I have a 13-year-old son who, by the time I'm doing, he's just say, Mommy, don't worry. Everything. Their brain works like computers. These are the children that you are raising. Most of us do not even know who we're raising. We just want to just, and all of that, just anyhow, just maybe they said, that's how our parents throw that thing into the bin. You see this, that's how our parents, that's how they did, throw it into the bin. This is actually very important because there were a lot of errors that we would need to correct. Alrighty, so as you are here, if you have not already joined the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge, I am calling on you to join us today because what we are going to be sharing, in that conversation, starting the last week in June. And, for people who already registered, they already gotten the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro Volume 1 and 2, all right? The first Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro 1 and 2, they already gotten it, they're already watching it, so you can actually, get in. Throw more light on feelings of crush. We will throw more light at the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. Yes, the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge. We will throw more light there. All right, so that you will be able to, get all of the details. There's too much to talk about. We don't stay past 1 hour because I have coaching calls. I have people reaching out to me. I have the team that we manage and all of that. So yes, you cannot learn anything on this class. That it's not possible. I can't even lie to you. I don't know how to lie anyway. People will tell you, oh, just come, you learn everything. That's not true. There's no one class that teaches you everything you need to learn. None. You need to actually take courses, learn, as you're going. So this is the detail, all right, on my screen, okay? And when you make payment, you can send this to this number. Please send your proof of payment to this number and they will respond to you. And please, if you're making payment today, remember that this discount, the original price is 15,000 naira. This discount that we're sharing today is for is for, I think, a thousand people. Somebody already paid the difference. The flash sale we gave was 2,000. We closed it. All right, this is 3,200. If you don't meet up with it, you're going to pay 15,000. And even at 15,000, it will be as if you didn't pay when you get into that course. I can assure you. So share with your family and friend. Share with people around you. Share with your relatives. All this, look at us. We're watching this today. How many people did you share link with to come and watch? We live in this, let's not, talk. Oh, let's not. But things are going haywire. Look at us. Look at where we are today. Where we now have the propaganda of when a child is 2, the child can decide to be a male, even though they're a woman, they're a female. All right, the child can decide, and it's a law is even being passed that the teachers in school will become more powerful than the parents, especially for those who live outside of Nigeria. They'll become more powerful than the parents, and they will be able to sign consent. It's happening already. A child says, "Oh, I feel like I want to be a girl." The teacher, the school will actually help the child become. That's where we are. That's where we are. That's where we are. This is the very, this is very, very important. That's where we are. It's not on WhatsApp on your phone. Oh, okay. Just send us, you can send us a message on any of the, on any of our social media handles, and then we can also, it's actually on WhatsApp. Maybe you're not putting it on well. Okay. So that's where we are currently. That's where we are. So it is important that we step out of this our place where we are, where we are telling ourselves, hey, it's okay. Is it not parenting? Is it not all of that and all of that? The program, why do you think the LGBT community is putting the rainbows in clothes, for children who are babies? Why do you think they are doing that? It's called programming. It's called Why do you think so? You think it's just to teach relationship? No, that's not what it is. All right? That's not what it is. Somebody said, "Oh, can't this be challenging?" God, I don't know. The laws of the land. The laws of the land. Teachers are now transitioning children without the knowledge of the parents. If the parents talk, there's a particular parent who is on the run in Canada because he spoke up. Before he could say a word, the child was given puberty blockers. I shared that documentary with parents in the academy. We all watched it over the weekend. And the man had to run away because he's being looked at. Because he's not an enemy of the state. That's the kind of place we are. That's the kind of place we are. Let us please stand up and do this thing. Get your children's teacher into sex educate your child like a pro. If you're learning it alone, you're on your own. All right? Somebody said he went to jail. He's now out on bail. That's it. All right? How do girls from other part of Nigeria be given a voice? How do girls start with giving yourself a voice too? There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. We can't. That's why every single one of us want to be in every corner doing something. Let's do something in our corners. Stop waiting. Don't be a silent majority, please. Don't be silent. If you haven't shared this flyer for Sex Educate Your Child like a pro, yes, you are a silent majority. You have joined them. Yes, you are. Because we are saying, let's teach these children positive sex conversations. The war is being won by the negative sex conversations that we do with that. So please, let us stand up and do this work. Get into this, share it to everybody. The last week in June is going to be we're going to, be dismantling a lot of things that we all used to know and be giving you weapons, which is knowledge on how you can fight this. All right? That's it. In Canada, it's 5 years jail if you resist as a parent. That's the truth. That's the truth. 5 years jail. Once you resist, you're going to jail. You are in trouble. You can't resist your child being transitioned. You can't resist. All right? Somebody said, please post flyer. The flyer will be on the community wing of our of this YouTube channel, in case you're not on any of our social media platform. But if you follow us on any social media, put Wendy Ologe or The Intentional Parent. You'll find flyers everywhere. We've been sharing it since yesterday. All right, the flyer, the details, the flyer is right on this community, on WhatsApp, on YouTube also. All right, this is very, very key. Please, let's stand up. Okay, please, let's stand up. Please, let's stand up. Let's stand up and do the needful. There's a lot of work to be done. Don't sit on the fence in these times. As they are sharing Pride Month, have you seen how much money they are pumping into the Pride Month system? Flags flying everywhere. So it's the same thing. Sharing a flyer is us flying our flag. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for TIP Academy. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for your generation. You're doing it for every single. We're all working to ourselves. Every year, I register every single one person who teaches my child in Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. Because I understand that I'm not the only one influencing my child. I ensure that every single one parent that I know, friend, family, my whole family members join Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. I don't assume. I don't say, oh, because I'm the coach, so my siblings will know. That's not true. They will not know. And I know that they will not know. My mom is here. My children spend time with her. I opt her into listening to these classes and registering for them. If you need your parents to come and register and hear, let them hear. Your children go on holiday. Your children go on holiday in their homes. Look at the cartoons your children are watching. They are all, filtered with nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And we're not even aware. Children are being indoctrinated from age 0. We're still asking, when should we start this conversation? You start it as soon as you have a child. The moment you have a child. And for those that are already registered for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, the flyers are all in the group. I'm also going to be giving you DPs that you can use to, send out this message everywhere so that people can get in, all right? People can get in, okay? And this is going to be very, very important. So somebody says even more clueless, parents who don't know the symbols of pride and will give clothes with their children with their symbols. That's it. That's it, And if this was an eye-opener for you, share the link with your family and your friends. Let them hear. If more people hear, we are safer. I just want to learn on my own. No, if I'm telling people, they are not listening. The LGBTQ people are not waiting for you to listen. They're shoving it down our throats. Guys. They are shoving it down. They are telling us that we must accept this. Or we cannot become members of the society. You decide to be gay. We say, no, we don't want to be gay. It's okay, you stay. But you say, no, you must teach us how to be gay. Are you guys kidding? Are you guys kidding? Like this and share it with your family and friends. Not many of us are speaking out, like I said earlier. Many of us have collected money and have shoved into their pocket. Is it that they are silent or they are not even speaking at all, or they are speaking for it? So some of us who are speaking, you don't know what it is. We're doing course and we're saying, no, come and pay 3,200 and all of that. If I collect the money, I'm paid, I'm being offered for influencing. All right, it's nothing to be nothing compared to. I'm talking about millions of naira. I'm talking about upward of 500 million. That's what I'm talking about. So it's not a joke. We're not joking. We're actually putting up a movement. That's what we're doing. All right. Somebody said, I just got to know about rainbow and symbol of LGBT just yesterday. That's it. That's it. What they're telling us that we must affirm them. I am saying if I share with people, they don't really answer me. They say this parenting thing. Hey. These people, are they waiting for us to agree or not? It's all over our faces. All over our faces. Everywhere. We need to stand up. All right? They even call those dinosaurs. It means that we're going to go extinct very soon. Dr. Happiness, that's true. Who watched that documentary? They say we're dinosaurs. Oh, Lord. They say we're dinosaurs. They were dinosaurs. It's everywhere. Somebody said, I don't even know. I have to Google it after this class. Hey. We have to Google after this class. That's it. The knowledge needs to go round. Since they say we're dinosaurs, don't go extinct. I don't know about you. I'm not just about to go extinct. If you're about to get extinct, all right. So they've just messed our head with a lot of things, and they're even telling us, no, don't. Shh. You say something, they tell you it's homophobic to say it. I said something when I was in the US last year. They said, oh, it was homophobic to say such a thing. I'm like, who? Homophobic. Confusion everywhere. And for people who think that this is done in Nigeria, like I was telling the parents in the inner circle, we were sharing yesterday, just a few days ago, over the weekend, the Heritage event held in Nigeria. It's an LGBTQ, stuff. A whole lot of mess went down. Parents don't even know. Parents drop their girls there. The ones that slept over, the one that said tonight. They say, oh, they just a girls only hangout. You don't even know. They give you just take swallow. You don't know because you're not even learning. You're not interested. You're not interested. Right? You're not interested. So if you talk, they say that yeah, according to them, yes, you're hindering their truth. It's now their truth, their truth. There's no longer the truth. It's now your truth, my truth. All right. This is very, 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 very key. We need to just stand up, teach what is right, and then move at it. If you want to learn more about the propaganda about the gender dysphoria thing, you can Google Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh did a documentary of What is a Woman. It's American, and he did an amazing job uncovering the truth, how the things happen and all of that. All right. So it's very, very key. It's right here with us. So let's stay awake. Let's stop sleeping. If you decide to be a parent in today's world, you stand up. There's nothing like, our parents didn't have to do anything. I'm working. I don't have time. You're on your own. You're working. You don't have time. If you don't do the time now, you do it later. Either way, you pay the price. So these classes that we're all saying, come and do, come and take these, small classes, come and pay. You don't pay today. I've seen people who have paid millions trying to salvage what has happened in the system for their children. I know what I'm saying. Come and learn what is right, and let's do this better. Yes, mouthwash, right? Smartwash, mouthwash. Okay, let's go. All right. For those who are asking about my books, I have several books. This is Discipline That Works. This is Connect to Correct. This is How to Love Your Child More. This is Walking Your Child Through Puberty. This is Raising an Independent Thinking Child. This is Resolving Sibling Rivalry. This is From Yelling to Calm. And this is Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, Volume 1 and Volume 2. If you are outside of Nigeria, you can simply put Wendy Ologe on Amazon, and you will get details of all my books in Amazon. And I look forward to having you at Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro, because I'm pumped up. My team and I are gingered. Coach Ebuka is here. I'm sure amazing insight. Coach Etima, Coach David, we're going to bring you amazing insight. You will be shocked at the things that you're here. You think you've heard anything. There's nothing. You've not heard anything already. You want to be here. Where can I get your book in Akwa Ibom? You just buy, and then you will send you pickup point in Akwa Ibom. All right. I think we'll have a distributor there. Send us a chat to make all of your inquiries. How do we get the books in Nigeria? Lagos, to be precise. We have over 6 distributors in Lagos. So just send us a chat to that number, and we'll have send you all of the details, and you can get the books. Where can I get the book in Yola? I don't think we have any pickup in Yola. Please reach out to us to pick up in Abuja. You can get the team to transport them to you, dispatch them to you in Yola. All right. Somebody said we can feel the fire. Oh, yeah. All right. Don't forget to share the flyer for Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. If you haven't shared in your community, get them in. Get them in. Let's run this race. We are leading a narrative. That's what we're doing. All right. We're not just creating courses. We're leading narratives. We're reading movements that's going to change the course of the African child, tomorrow to come. Thank you so much, and do have an amazing, amazing day. See you guys for parents in the yard. See you in the yard.